Welcome to Interview Pro. We have seen different types of directives in our previous video and learned how to use structural directives. Let's learn more about structural directives in this video. I'm using the same example. I have a subscribe button here. If I created the channel, I shouldn't see the subscribe button, right? Only other users should be able to see this button. So let's make the change in the app component because this is where we have the subscribe button. In the app component ts, I want to create another variable, your channel, which is of type boolean, initialized to the value false, and let's make use of this your channel, and based on the value I want to display this button or hide this button. How do we do that using structural directive? We have a directive called ngIf to render DOM elements conditionally. So I'll make use of ngIf. It starts with an asterisk as this is a structural directive, and I want to display this button when this is not my channel. So negating your channel property, this button would be displayed. If this is true, then we don't see this button. Let's save the changes, go back to UI. Now the initial value was false. That means it's not my channel. So this is we see a subscribe button, but let's update it to true. Now we should not see that button and we don't see it as expected. So how Angular interprets ngIf directive is, internally it would create ng template element and apply ngIf. So let's create ng template element. I'll explain what this ng template is in a minute. So this ngIf will be moved to ng template, but here it's not a directive, it's a property binding. Inside this, button will be present. So basically, whenever we apply ngIf directive or a structural directive, that element will be wrapped inside ng template, and the directive will be moved to the ng template as a property binding. Now let's save the changes, go back to UI, we still see the same output. Now if I make it false, we should see the subscribe button and we see the subscribe button. So what is this ng template? ng template allows us to define template content that is rendered only when we specially give an instruction to render it. For example, I'll add another ng template here, ng template, and I'll simply have a span which says testing. Now if I go to UI, I should see this span which says testing. So we don't see any extra element here. This is an extra element without any conditions, right? So I'm not seeing this, but let me add ngIf equals, I'll use the same property, your channel. Now your channel is set to true. Okay, it's false. Let me set to true. Now the condition is true. Okay, this is not asterisk, it should be attribute. Now your channel value is true. So that means we are telling Angular to render this template on the screen. If we go to UI, we see the span testing. If I make this to false, then I won't see it because we are asking Angular not to render it when your channel is false. One of the main uses of ng template is to hold the content that will be used by the structural directives. So now we know the internal representation of structural directives. Generally, when we use if condition, we also use an else case when the condition fails, right? Here as well, we can have an else case with ngIf. Let's revert this changes to ngIf. I'll remove the template, then move the button outside of the template. So what if this condition fails? If this is not my channel, I'll see the subscribe button. But what if this is my channel? I want to see the text. Let's say this is your channel. ng template span. This is your channel. When do we display this ng template? When this condition fails. So instead of writing ng if to this span again with the same condition or a negation of this condition, we can simply use this single ng if and specify which one to render button or to render this template. In order to do that, first we need a reference to this template. So I'll simply name it DESC, and here after your condition, it may be a simple condition like this or a complex condition, specify the keyword else followed by the reference that I have given to this ng template. Now let's save this change. Let me make sure your channel is set to false. So we'll see the button now. We are seeing the button, and if I set this to true, I should see the description. Now I see the description. This is your channel. There is another version as well. If you have multiple templates, like for true condition, you have one template. For the false condition, you have another template. In that case, you can use if then else version of ngif directive. So let's do that. Let's say we want to display that based on the condition inside of a div. So I'll create a div and add a condition here, which is nothing but this. Let me cut it from here and give it to the div. But the difference is we have a then as well. So I'll put a keyword then followed by the reference. We need a reference to this button as well. Let's wrap this inside ng template and give a reference to this ng template btn. So if this condition is true, then we'll display btn, otherwise we'll display dese. So now the boolean variable is set to true, so we'll be seeing the description. This is your channel. If I set it to false, we'll see the button. So we have seen how to use ngIf, how it's interpreted by Angular, what is ng template. Then we saw if else version followed by if then else version. This is all about ngIf. I hope the concept is clear. If you like the content, please like, share and subscribe to Interview Pro. Thank you.